Alright, welcome back to the Knives Fast channel, guys. It is time for a wrap-up video of these two pickled steel knives, the Rhino and the WarHog. Again, Knives Fast channel, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and stick around and hit that notification bell, guys. Appreciate each and every one of you. Let's dive into these two knives. Now, couple of things up front, a lot of things up front. So you get to stare at closed knives for a couple minutes. Number one, these knives came by way of Pickled Steel Knives out of South Africa, a company I had never heard of until this, and I've been doing a lot of chatting back and forth with the owner over there, Aldo, I think is how you say it. If I messed it up, I apologize. And, you know, I've just been trying to clarify some things, and again, I also appreciate Aries EDC. If you guys aren't familiar with his channel, definitely check it out. Aries wanted to send these on to me. He's such a nice dude. He's making some great knives too and making some awesome content. So definitely really appreciate both Aries for sending these to me and Aldo for sending these to him in the first place. So very cool. Again, this is the WarHog and this is the Rhino. A little background about Pickled Steel. Okay, so I asked Aldo, what about the name? And I guess Pickle is either his daughter's, I think it's his daughter's nickname. And, you know, so he started with that, but then he also feels like pickle, like the pickling process, like when you're taking a cucumber and turning it into a pickle or whatever and pickling it, you're making it better. So his idea was taking steel and turning it into something better. So that's a pretty cool idea. Now, I asked him a lot of questions because going on his website, there's a lot of knives up there that look familiar to me. Well, it turns out that one of his manufacturers he works with is Barnette, and these two knives and most of his, in other words, custom knives, which what I would say he means by that are ones that are designed for him, and he's working with a designer on the knives like I do with, you know, with Kubi, like with the Dust Devil, same kind of thing. So those knives are being made by Barnette, and he also has a deal with Barnette where he can take some of their knives and resell those. So you'll see literally some knives like look exactly like the Barnette Wild Species and other like the Pelican, the Barnette, is it the Pelican? No, not the Pelican. Yeah. Anyway, the Barnette with the FRN handles, you'll see knives that look almost exactly like those, and he tells me those are ones that Barnette lets him basically rename and use, you know, so definitely wanted to clear all that up before I reviewed the knives, and you guys go take a look at his site and definitely, you know, look around and you know, just, you know that I've asked those questions and I feel pretty good about the answers. So there you go. All right. That was a lot of background just to get started on a review, but that's fine. So the first one is the Rhino, which I don't even know exactly how to describe this blade shape. And by the way, the Rhino, I got to go back here. I had this pulled up and then I got involved in 20 different things. And so both of these knives are designed by guys from South Africa. Okay, so the Rhino is designed by Miguel Hetzel, and you can see his name right there. And Miguel is a young South African knife maker, and he, in other words, Aldo is doing two of his knife designs currently, and this is one of them. Now, if you go to the website, you will see that you can get the Rhino in this orange or a black micarta. They are in 14C28N. There is contoured scales, which you guys know I love. Blade shape, I think I would call it sort of a modified reverse Tanto Warncliffe sheep's foot. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what to call this blade shape, but it doesn't matter because at the end what you have is this nice sweeping belly. You have a swedge up here, flat area up here. You see the Pickled Steel logo there. You do have a sharpening choil. This is the Rhino in 14C, again made by Barnette. You have a very basic bent steel pocket clip. There you go, about a tiny little bit sticking out. You do have a reversible area here. And I think Scott over at Aries definitely used this knife. It's a little bit, you know, Scott always working with his hands. It looks a little bit dirty. I'm sure it doesn't look like that when it first comes. You do have standoffs back here. No backspacer. No lanyard, I mean, excuse me, there's a lanyard hole, no lanyard loop, I should say. You have liners that are flush. They are polished. You can see you have a liner lock that is locked up at about 35. You are dead center on the blade. You have you have really decent action. I think the detent could be, well, you know, I was about to say it could be a little bit stronger, but I'm trying to fail it. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so yeah, just a little bit stronger. Again, it's on bearings, so you can see if you give it a little bit, it's going to go. Thumb stud-wise, it just popped. Whoops, and I screw it up right as I say that. It pops open. I hadn't had issues with the thumb studs until just then. Decent detent, very much so. Yeah, you can see I can middle finger flick it. You get past the detent on the way down very easily, no problem. It is a free dropper, as you can see. Now, he tells me that South Africans use and abuse their knives, so he's building these to specifications to try to make these very, very robust. There is no blade play side to side, but there is a little bit of lock rock on this one. When I move it up and down, I can feel the blade moving up and down. And it's interesting. It's just like a lot of lock rock, guys. Yeah, when you first flick it, you can feel it. And after I move it a few times, it's like the lock is still moving over. After I move it a few times, yeah, see it's there. Nah, it's still there. It felt like it stopped, but it's definitely still there. So there is some up and down play, but it's not coming unlocked. You can see there, I'm trying. No, I'm not going to spine whack it. But you can see there, definitely locked up well enough where it is not going to come loose. I just, you know, maybe tightening the pivot would help with that a little bit. But again, you know, guys, my policy is, if I get a knife in for review, I review it just like you would see it coming to you. In other words, I don't mess with the knives because my goal is for you to be able to see what you're going to see if you buy one and it comes to you. You do have a full 4-finger grip. No real hot spots. You do feel the clip. We talk about this all the time. I'm not sure there's a way around that these days. You do have jimping right here on this hump, which is cool. And then you can actually come out here if you want to. Now, there's nowhere to choke up with my finger, but, you know, you can see there, you can still easily reach the top of that. Now, there's no jimping right there, but it's fine for me. No big deal whatsoever on that one. By the way, I think this is going to be a longer video because I spouted at the beginning and got 2 knives to look at. So here is the Rhino doing some cutting. You can see, guys, here's what I like about this style of blade for cutting. What happens is you're naturally angling backwards. So when I'm cutting, the slicing is pulling across that belly, okay? You see what I'm saying? I really like that. There's a lot of knives that set up that way because you have this kind of upswept belly. It just does a fantastic job cutting on that kind of stuff. And again, action's great. Now, liner access, you can see you got a little bit of a pass through there and you have a chamfer. So it's not bad. I mean, you can slide across. A little bit more for me would be good, but that's, you know, you guys know me and liner lock access. I don't want to have to dig my thumb down in there, and I do have to do that a little bit. So a little more access would be great, but it's good. All right, let's move on. Well, no, let's not move on. Let's go through. I got both of these open on my phone, so we're gonna go through this one now. when you go to the site, the prices are going to be listed in Rand, which I understand is the South African, if I didn't say that right, please don't beat me up, South African currency. But my math, me and Aries, we're working back and forth, says this is a $75 knife. By the way, this one's in 14C, okay? $75 knife, not sure about shipping. Aldo says he uses UPS, and it usually takes 5 to 7 days to get to you from the time he ships it, and to the U.S., and the price will be based when you check out on where you are and what that calculates to UPS-wise. So you just have to go in there, plug it all in, say you're from the U.S., it'll do the math for you, and it'll give you a shipping calculation. And some of his other knives are cheaper than this, for sure. Now, there is the black one, and there is this. You have a satin finish blade, G10 handle, of course, 14C on the blade. Now, everything's going to be in millimeters, guys, and I'm not going to do the math, but we'll give you our comparison. So 207 millimeters long. The blade length is 91 millimeters, and let's just do this real quick. Let's put it up against the 8-inch Fractus here, and you can see you've got 4.5 and 3.5 basically is what you're dealing with. Maybe a little bit more blade, obviously, because you don't have a finger choil on the Rhino. And then he says 105 grams. And man, there's a lot of math going on here. Okay. 105 grams is 3.704 ounces. So there you go. So that is the Rhino. Okay, we're going to set the Rhino off here, and we're going to talk about the WarHog. Now, the WarHog has a totally different designer, and I said something in my unboxing that wasn't completely correct. It is designed by Johan Jordan, who is also a knife maker in South Africa. Now, the WarHog is his first production knife, I understand, and he's doing it with Pickled Steel, of course. Now, he submitted this for the Kaiser XU design competition and came in third. And so this one didn't get produced by Kaiser, but it's getting produced by Pickled Steel. And now he's subsequently had several other designs that are coming through with Kaiser, is my understanding. So the first thing I said was that it was in the sheepdog competition. That's not true. This was in the Kaiser and U design competition. Now this is in D2. There's Johan Jordan's logo. It's the WarHog. There's your Pickled Steel. Now you got green inlays, but there's also one with black. And we have a stonewash. Black stonewash. Wow, KC, get the words out of your mouth. Black stonewash blade. Now you have 4 fingers back here, and you have a nice thumb ramp with some jimping there. You do have a little flat area to choke up and stay back off of that corner. And now you've got a really nice spot. Now that is swedged right there, but it doesn't feel bad. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and show you the cutting. Again, now by doing that, we're angled back, and you can see we get a great cut. Now, if I come back here, still same results. It's a great cutting knife. I mean, thin because it's a taller flat grind. Very, very nicely done. The texture feels good. Nice texture on the micarta. Now, let me look real quick. I believe this is aluminum over a steel liner. I'm going to look real quick. I have this guy pulled up on my phone here. Again, there is a black version, black here and green here. So let's see. It says it is okay, aluminum and micarta. So that is correct. So you have steel liners down underneath. There is some chamfering some milling for weight reduction. Then over the top of that, you have aluminum, and then you have an inlay of micarta. That does sound proud, just a little bit, but it feels good. It feels equal around, I should say. Now this one is smooth, so interesting. So this one does stand up just a tiny bit, but not much. And again, you have red pivot collars, which is interesting. Feels pretty dang good in the hand. You do, this is kind of a wider steel clip. It kind of spreads out, so you do feel that right here a little bit. I wouldn't call it a hot spot, but it's definitely something you have to account for in your grip. And so you just relax and move your grip a little bit and get to the point that you can deal with that. This one, again, is a Axis style lock, and there is some side-to-side blade play. There is not any up and down at all, no lock rock, if you will. We are centered. Yep, we are centered and good to go. Now, action-wise, you can see, can a middle finger flick? Nope, can't quite middle finger flick it, but it's pretty good action for an Axis lock. You can see, again, on bearings, very clear. The follow-through on this one is pretty good as long as I hit those studs properly. It'll turn into a nice little fidget for you. You can see free dropper, big time. So yeah, you just got to get used to when to do that. There you go. But definitely you can see where this one will be a nice beefy cutter. Now, now that we've established that this one's close to 8 inches, we'll just put it up, and it looks like that one is very similar. Yes, it is. And blade is a little bit shorter. You can see handle's a little bit shorter. So we're just under 7 inches here. Weight is the same as the last one, which I cannot remember what it was. About 3.8 ounces, I believe. 3.7, 3.8, which is great and fine. Now this one is contoured. This one, the WarHog, is a little squarer, which means down here, I kind of feel this point in my pinky right here, but if you relax and you come back like that, it's better, but you still feel the squareness of these edges since it is not contoured. We talk about that all the time. It's a thing for me. You guys know I love contoured handles. Does it feel bad? No. Is it a hot spot? No. Does it feel a little flat and square there? Yes. Okay. Now, let's put our Ontario Rat 1. Gosh, this is a really long video, guys. I am very sorry. There is your Ontario Rat 1. I guess I'm talking a lot in this one. And there is your Ontario Rat 2. You can see these are a little bit bigger than the Rat 2 and a lot smaller than the Rat 1. And that is that. So again, both of these knives, according to what I'm reading and according to the math that Aries and I have done, these are around $75 each. By the way, this one's in 14C, as I said, and this one, the WarHog, is in D2, but it's coated D2, which is fine and dandy with me, because D2 is a slicey, cutty steel. So there you go, guys. This is one of the longest reviews I've ever done, but it is 2 knives, and I did have a lot of other things to cover and address. So there you go. Enjoyed getting to check these out for sure, and they'll be going on to Bluminati Ninja next, so look for his thoughts on them. And guys, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell on the Knives Fast channel, and thank you so much for watching the Knives Fast channel.